Palestinian war against the terrorists will not end until the root causes are found and removed from, and the hearts and minds are one. What are the root causes? In 1948, Palestinian land was seized to form the state of Israel. The Palestinians were massacred and forced to leave their land. Their homes and farms were seized. They tried to fight a conventional war with help from sympathetic neighbors. The friends of Israel ensured this attempt failed. More Palestinian land was seized, and Israeli settlements were built on more and more Palestinian land, and the Palestinians themselves are denied access to these settlements built on their land. The Palestinians initially tried to fight with catapults and stones. They were shot with live bullets and arrested. Thousands are incarcerated. Frustrated and angry, unable to fight a conventional war, the Palestinians resort to what we call terrorism. The world does not care even when Israel breaks international laws, seizing ships carrying medicine, food, and building materials in international waters. The Palestinians fired ineffective rockets which hurt no one. Massive retaliations were mounted by Israel, rocketing and bombing hospitals, schools, and other buildings, killing innocent civilians, including school children and hospital patients, and more. The world reward Israel deliberately provoking Palestine by recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. It is the anger and frustration of the Palestinians and their sympathizers that caused them to resort to what we call terrorism. But it is important to acknowledge that any act which terrifies people also constitute terrorism, and states dropping bombs on or launching rockets which maim and kill innocent people also terrify people. These are also acts of terrorism. But we believe that the only way to fight terrorism is to remove the cause. Let the Palestinians return to reclaim their land. Let there be a state of Palestine. Let there be justice and the rule of law. Warring against them will not stop terrorism, nor will out-terrorizing them succeed. We need to remind ourselves that the United Nations organization, like the League of Nations before, was conceived for the noble purpose of ending wars between nations. Wars are about killing people. Modern wars are about mass killings and total destruction countrywide. Civilized nations claim that they abhor killings for any reason. When a man kills, he commits the crime of murder, and the punishment may be death. But wars, we all know, encourage and legitimize killings. Indeed, the killings are regarded as noble, and the killers are hailed as heroes. They get medals stuck to their chests and statues erected in their honor, have their names mentioned in history books. There is something wrong about our way of thinking with our value system. Kill one man, it is murder. Kill a million and you become a hero. And so we still believe that conflicts between nations can be resolved with war. And because we still do, we must prepare for war. The old adage says, to have peace, prepare for war. And we are forever preparing for war, inventing more and more destructive weapons. We now have nuclear bombs capable of destroying whole cities. But now we know that the radiation emanating from the explosion will affect even the country which uses the bomb. A nuclear war would destroy the world. This fear has caused the countries of Europe and North America to maintain peace for over 70 years. But that is not for other countries. Wars in these other countries can help live test the new weapons being invented. And so they sell them to warring countries. We see their arms in wars between smaller nations. These are not world wars, but they are no less destructive. Hundreds of thousands of people have been killed, whole countries devastated, and nations bankrupted because of these fantastic new weapons. But these wars give handsome dividends to the arms manufacturers and the traders. The arms business is now the biggest business in the world. They profit shamelessly from the death and destruction they cause. Indeed, so-called peace-loving nations often promote this shameful business. Today's weapons cost millions. Fighter jets cost about $100 million, and maintaining them costs as much as tens of millions. But the poor countries are persuaded to buy them even if they cannot afford. They are told that their neighbors or their enemies have them. It is therefore imperative that they too have these weapons. So, while the people starve and suffer from all kinds of deprivations, a huge percentage of their budget is allocated to the purchase of modern arms. That their buyers may never have to use them bothers the purveyors not at all. I had suggested that the veto should not be by just one permanent member, but by at least two powers backed by 3 non-permanent members of the Security Council. The General Assembly should then back the decision with a simple majority. I will not say any more. I must admit that the world without the UN would be disastrous. We need the UN. We need to sustain it with sufficient funds. No one should threaten it with financial deprivation. Madam President, after 15 years and at 93, I returned to this podium with the heavy task of bringing the voice and hopes of the new Malaysia to the world stage. Have high hopes that around the world we will see peace, progress, and prosperity. In this, we look towards the United Nations to hear our pleas. I thank you, Madam President.